Hello everybody, thank you so much for tuning in today. My name is Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. I am coming to you live from Natick High School in Natick, Massachusetts, here for the inaugural Route 9 Cup. This is a high school girls soccer match between the visiting Brookline High Warriors and the hosting Natick High Redhawks. It's been a little while since the Brookline Warriors played. They took a week off last week after finishing a home-and-home series the week before against rival Newton North with a 1-1 tie and a 1-0 loss. The Warriors' record now stands at 2-2-2. So we'll see what they have here in store against the Redhawks. Like I said, this is the first year of a new special game to play for, the Route 9 Cup, starting in what has been a weird season to end all weird seasons. Of course, with COVID-19 going on, there's been all kinds of new regulations in place. There will not be a postseason. All kinds of changes to the rules. Of course, the inbounds kick instead of the inbounds throw has been such an adjustment for all the teams. And of course, playing 4 20-minute quarters instead of 2 45-minute halves like everybody's used to. The teams have adjusted as well as they can, and my hat's off to all of them for that. This has been a difficult year for everyone, and these athletes have shown such grace under pressure here. So to start things off, the Brookline Warriors will be playing from my right in the white jerseys, while the Natick Redhawks will be playing from my left in the red jerseys. That's how we'll start the first quarter. Looks like Brookline will be starting with the ball. And indeed, the ball is going to go to Brookline. That's Sari Frankel and Daniela Levy at the center, getting ready to get this one underway. We wait for the first whistle. And we're underway. Levy taps it over to Frankel. Frankel dribbling around midfield. Passes it back over to the far side to Mia Pujols-Braceno. She tries to pass it ahead. Intercepted by number 2, Holly Browning. Browning dribbling with it. She tries to pass it ahead, and the ball gets lost out of bounds along the far side. So Natick's first attempt on the attack goes wide and out of bounds. So Brookline will take over deep in their own end as they chase down a far rolling ball.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Memorial Field for tonight's varsity soccer doubleheader featuring the Warriors of Brookline High School and the Redhawks of Natick High School. We're pleased to welcome you. Wish to remind you this contest is being played by young athletes, not professionals, who are trying to represent themselves in school to the best of their ability. Please remember to not jeer, criticize, or downgrade players, coaches, or the officials. We request that all cheering be supportive. For your safety as well as those around you.
So Brookline getting ready for the inbounds kick as the PA announcer goes. Pujols-Braceno taps it in. Brookline dribbling along the far side. A centering pass goes over to Hope Leshley. Leshley dribbling with it, being chased. She manages to escape, sends a centering pass that gets picked off by Natick, and now they're starting on the attack. A few passes, but nothing doing, and it's cleared by Caroline Wolf. Now taken away by Natick, and they almost lost it out of bounds, but kept it in was Eliza Campana. But now after a couple passes, it's lost again, taken away by Brookline, and now they're trying to work with it. And now it's taken away. I believe that was Melanie Chernin wearing number 24 today. A couple of passes, and now it's back to Hope Leshley. Passed back to Mila Seifert, who then passes it a centering pass to Chernin. Chernin sends it back to Caroline Wolf. Wolf sends it over to Mia Pujols-Braceno along the far side, but it goes out of bounds. So that'll be an inbounds kick for Natick. Natick with the ball still in the Brookline end. Pass it in, and now it's kicked towards the box. Tapped in the air by Wolf, and then booted out by Lindsay Mahoney. Into the air, and it's tracked down by Natick around midfield. They start to pass it back in, but it gets away from them pretty quickly. Recovered by Hope Leshley. Passes it over along the far side. Brookline dribbling with it, and a foul is called. Samantha Friedman was dribbling with it and managed to draw the foul. Caroline Wolf passes it over to Lindsay Mahoney. Mahoney dribbling with it. A pass to the center to Chernin. Chernin lost it for a second but chased it down before number 3, Zoe Graves, could for Natick. Passed it back to Caroline Wolf, who passed it back into Chernin. Chernin trying to get around the defender, but it's taken away and passed ahead. That is up to Graves. Graves sends a long kick that's going to be easily out of bounds. This will be a goal kick for Brookline. So Brookline getting ready for the goal kick. I believe this is Talia Thompson playing in net today for Brookline. She kicks it over to Lindsay Mahoney. Mahoney kicks it along the near side to Mila Seifert. Seifert centering pass to Leshley. Leshley kicks it ahead. Finds Daniela Levy, who kicks it back to Leshley. Kicks it to the near side to Seifert. Seifert, a centering kick that goes all the way over to Caroline Wolf. She taps it ahead to Melanie Chernin. Chernin tries to kick and it's intercepted. That's number 11, Kayla Henderson of Natick. She starts on the attack, but it gets kicked away by Lindsay Mahoney, kicked into the air, but recovered by number 2, Holly Browning. Tried to send an insert pass and nothing doing there. So another goal kick for Brookline. Thompson lining up for it. Kicks it along to Mahoney. Mahoney kicks it over to Wolf. Wolf boots it ahead, deflected and taken away for a second by Natick. A chase for the ball, and it's ultimately won by Leshley. Leshley kicks it over to Zoe Fagnan. Fagnan kicks it ahead, skips away from a couple players, into the Natick end for a sec, but then they manage to take it back. A couple of passes, winds up back with Browning. Browning sends a retreating pass, and then it's booted across midfield, deflected by Mahoney, and then recovered by Hope Leshley. Leshley sends a through pass, looking for Levy. Levy now dribbling with it, passes it back to Leshley in retreat, then passes it back to Mahoney. Mahoney dribbling with it for a sec. Then she tries to kick it through, looking for Frankel, but it's taken away by the Redhawks. The pass ahead goes to Eliza Campana, and she manages to draw a foul from Seifert. And so Natick will have the free kick. Looks like it's going to be an indirect kick as they're getting ready to tap it. This is number 8, Lily Manago, and I believe number 10, Kyra Hacker. It's tapped back for Hacker. Hacker kicks it all the way deep into the Brookline end. It gets deflected out, and now being chased down by Natick's number 7, which is not on the roster I have here. Couple passes ahead, and then it's deflected out of bounds by Brookline. That is Lagan is number 7. And now after the knock out of bounds by Mia Pujols-Braceno, Natick has the inbounds kick. It's tapped in, booted towards the box. Couple deflections, now a shot, and it bounces into the arms of Thompson. First shot on goal of the day, and it's corralled easily by Talia Thompson. She throws it in for Leshley. Leshley passes it over to Seifert along the near side. Seifert trying to get around Campana. A couple of deflections off the kick, and it's taken away by Natick. Couple of passes, starting to get deep in. And number 3, Zoe Graves, was trying to kick it in towards the box, but it gets deflected out by Brookline. Natick recovers, though, and is back on the attack. Another attempted insert pass kicked out by Caroline Wolf. Brookline trying to get a couple passes, but it's intercepted by, I believe, Campana, but then she had it taken away almost instantly, and now Brookline starting on the attack once again. Natick manages to take it away, and now they're trying to get things going. They've got it in the Brookline end. This is Browning dribbling with it against Leshley, trying to get around her. Centering kick. Deflects off a couple players. Looks like it's going to roll out of bounds. We'll see where the officials point. They say Natick ball. This is going to be an inbounds kick by Manago. Back to Hacker. Hacker tries to kick it in. Immediately taken away by Chernin. Passed ahead to Levy. Levy dribbling with it. Boots it all the way over to the other end and over the head of Friedman, and it bounces out of bounds. So the ball goes back to Natick as they get ready for the inbounds kick. tap it in. Now kick it along the far side. Now an attempted centering kick, but it goes right into the arms of Thompson, I believe. Not sure who that was who made the kick, but now Thompson sends it in. This is Leshley dribbling with it, passes it along the near side to Seifert. Seifert passes it, centering pass over to Chernin. Chernin sends it back to Caroline Wolf. Wolf sends it ahead, wide of Chernin and taken away by Natick. That is number 11, Kayla Henderson. Henderson taking it along the far side, looking for an opening. Couple passes, still working along the far side as they passed back. Another retreating pass. They try and kick an insert now, but it rolls past everybody and easily into the arms of Talia Thompson. Thompson holding on to the ball, looking for an outlet. We got about 11.5 minutes left here in the first quarter. It's rolled over to Mahoney. Mahoney passes it over to Wolf. Wolf boots it into the air towards midfield. It's downed and then recovered by Frankel. Frankel passes it over to Samantha Friedman along the far side. Brookline now trying to get on the attack for a change, as Friedman dribbles towards the center, then sends a pass looking for Fagnan. It gets deflected, but then recovered by Seifert. Seifert tries a pass, but it goes to nobody and is easily taken away by Natick. A couple of passes. It winds up at the foot of Browning. Browning tries to send a pass ahead. Natick moving on the attack, but they get smothered, and I think they're going to call a foul. Nice foul drop by Kayla Henderson off the pass from Holly Browning. And now this will be a free kick just outside of the box for the Red Hawks, so dangerous chance here. Natick has been winning the possession game for most of this contest thus far. They're getting ready for the kick, getting ready for an indirect kick, it looks like. So Brookline will charge as soon as the ball is first touched. There's the whistle. The tap. Now the kick, and it's high and just over the net. Dangerous kick there. I think they said that was Kira Hacker who was attempting the kick there off of the tap. And instead it'll be a goal kick for Talia Thompson. She boots it into the air, and it's recovered by Natick. They've been dominating the possession all quarter, but the pass is immediately intercepted by Chernin. Now Chernin's dribbling with it. She gets it across midfield, and she draws a foul. Melanie Chernin trying to turn the momentum around for Brookline. And so it'll be a free kick just past midfield for Brookline. Getting ready for an indirect kick, it looks like. Tapped from Mahoney over to Hope Leshley, who then passes it over to Caroline Wolf. Wolf winds up, and a centering pass over to Chernin. Chernin fakes out one defender. Attempted pass over to Friedman. It gets deflected and taken away for a second by Browning, but then Friedman takes it right back. Such speed there. She sends a pass in looking for Frankel, but she gets sandwiched, and it's taken away by Natick and booted back to the goalie, Allison Jeter, her first time touching the ball. She boots it towards midfield. We got a couple deflections, and I think we got a foul call. And it looks like the foul call is going to be against Natick, as Brookline trying to work with 8:40 left in the first quarter. Game still scoreless here at the Route 9 Cup. Seifert looks like she's going to tap it back to Hope Leshley. Indeed she does. Leshley boots it into the air towards the box, easily kicked out by Natick. Winds up back at the foot of Leshley. She deflects it into the air, and now it's downed and kicked ahead by number 16, Briar Grady. Sends it ahead to Kayla Henderson. They take it across midfield. Now Natick passing it around. It goes to Holly Browning. They send it back to Monago, then send it back to Hacker. Hacker kicks it across midfield, but in the scrum it's taken away by Brookline. Now passed over to Zoe Fagnan, passed over to Seifert, and Seifert loses it out of bounds. She was being chased by Zoe Graves. So it'll be another inbounds kick for the Red Hawks. Looks like it's going to be tapped over to Kira Hacker again. Hacker tries to boot it towards the box, immediately deflected out, and then deflected back in by Natick. Now kicked into the air. The ball is flying all over the place as they battle for it, and it looks like they're going to call a foul on Frankel. Got a little too physical against Briar Grady. And now it looks like they're going to set up another indirect kick. It looks like they're setting it up for Kira Hacker again. She seems to be the main kicker for Natick on free kicks. They tap it, and Hacker sends it over to Manago. Manago now dribbling with it, and she runs into a wall named Hope Leshley, and it gets deflected out of bounds. So it'll be another inbounds kick for Natick. .6:50 left in the first period. Natick has been dominating possession thus far, but no scores yet. The inbounds kick is tapped to Hacker. Hacker boots it towards the box. A deflection off the crossbar! Kicked out of the box by Melanie Chernin. Oh, what a dangerous chance that was for Natick. It's kicked back in, but this time it bounces easily into the hands of Thompson. What a beautifully set play by the Redhawks, but no post luck there. As Thompson rolls it into Chernin. Chernin sends it along the far side to Pujols Braceno. Braceno fights through one defender, but can't fight through another. It gets kicked ahead. Zoe Graves fights it away from Caroline Wolf, passes it over to Henderson. Henderson tries to center it, but it's booted away by Hope Leshley. Leshley tries to kick it into space, but it's taken by Browning. A couple more passes. Winds up at the foot of Grady. She boots it over to Henderson. Henderson, a pass over to Browning, battling for the ball now. And I think they're going to call a foul on Holly Browning. So it'll be a free kick for Brookline. It looks like the goalie Thompson's going to take it. She kicks it over to Lindsay Mahoney. Mahoney stops it, kicks it into space, finds Sari Frankel, almost has it taken away, manages to fight through a couple defenders. She's at about midfield now. Kicks it ahead looking for Friedman. Friedman lost it. Try and chase it down again. Instead, it is chased down by Natick's number 7. I believe that's Lagon. Ball gets lost out of bounds, but it'll be Natick ball. And Natick kicks it inbounds. And it almost gets taken away immediately by Brookline. I believe that was Daniela Levy who ended up kicking it out of bounds instead. Brookline waiting to make a couple of substitutions here. Natick now getting ready for another inbounds kick. In the Brookline end, they tap it in, and it's booted into the air. And it's downed by Mahoney. Mahoney now dribbles, kicks it ahead to Frankel. Frankel has it immediately taken away, but they're going to call a foul against number 17, Abby Beagle. As Beagle got a little too aggressive trying to take the ball away from Frankel, and now Brookline will have an indirect kick. Wolf taps it back to Leshley. Leshley boots it into the air towards the box, being chased after by Zoe Fagnan. She stops it, but then has it kicked away by a Natick defender. Now she's trying to chase it and kick it out, deflected by Fagnan, but recovered by Natick. This time they managed to kick it into space, but it goes right to Hope Leshley. Leshley trying to dribble with it, being pursued by the Redhawks. She gets around a couple defenders, but her pass goes errant and is booted away for a second by the Natick defense. It goes into the air, and they're going to call either a foul or a handball against Zoe Graves. So ball goes back to Brookline. Seifert taps it over to Mahoney. Mahoney passes it over to Wolf. Wolf then passes it back to Mahoney. They're trying to get enough space for maybe a kick further in. Mahoney dribbling with it. Sends a pass looking for Levy, but it deflects off her foot and is taken away by Browning. Browning dribbling across midfield. She tries to boot it. Deflected by Levy. Being chased after by Friedman. Friedman turns around and kicks it. It goes off the foot of Lagon and out of bounds. Now we've got a substitution for Brookline. This will be number 12, Maddie Moore, and number 13, Gianna Pentland, replacing number 6, Zoe Fagnan, and number 19, Samantha Friedman. So inbounds kick for Brookline, a couple of passes. And Pentland had it for a second, but has it taken away by Natick. Now they're trying to make things happen. The pass goes over to Zoe Graves. Then another pass, and it's immediately booted long and wide. It goes out of bounds. That was off the foot of Briar Grady. So it'll be another long chase after the ball out of bounds as Talia Thompson gets ready for the goal kick. 2.5 minutes left here in the first period. Thompson ready for the kick. Boots it into the air. And it's taken away by Monago. But then she gets pursued and it's taken away. The ball goes to Chernin. Chernin passes it along the far side over to Pujols-Braceno. Passed ahead to Pentland. Passed back. Pujols-Braceno had to go back and chase it. And then a centering kick over to Chernin. Chernin trying to keep control of it. She gets pursued and they're going to call another foul on Zoe Graves. A little too aggressive in the pursuit of Melanie Chernin. And Wolf now kicks it over to Mahoney. Mahoney with it. She's dribbling. Kicks it in. Looking for Levy. It bounces off her foot and is taken away by Monago. Kicked back to Hacker. Tries to kick it in. Taken away by Chernin. Passed over to Frankel. Frankel dribbling with a little bit of space, but the defense closing fast. Passes it ahead to Levy. Levy had a chance for a second, but it's kicked away by Lily Monago. A nice sequence there from Chernin to Frankel to Levy as Brookline trying to get the attack going here in stoppage time. The inbounds kick goes to Pentland. Pentland turns around, tries to an insert kick, deflected out by a couple defenders, deflects right to the foot of Hope Leshley. She tries to kick it in. I think they're saying it went off her hand. So that's going to be another turnover, and the ball is going to go to the Redhawks. Kira Hacker getting ready to take the free kick for Natick. She winds up, boots it towards midfield, deflected back to the Natick end by Hope Leshley, and it bounces out of bounds. This will be an inbounds kick for Lagan. About 30 seconds left in the period. It's passed back, passed further back to Hacker. Hacker boots it into the air. Deflected, and we got another foul call as it looks like one of the Natick players just shoved Melanie Chernin over. And now Brookline will get a free kick. It's tapped over to Leshley. Leshley boots it towards the box, and there's the whistle for the quarter. So 1 quarter in the books. The current score here at the inaugural Route 9 Cup: Brookline 0, Natick 0. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan coming to you live from Natick High School in Natick, Massachusetts. I'll be back after a brief mute break. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome back to Natick High School in Natick, Massachusetts. My name is Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, coming to you live with this high school girls soccer matchup and the inaugural Route 9 Cup here between the hosting Natick High Redhawks and the visiting Brookline High Warriors. Scoreless after 1 period, we now head into the 2nd period. Natick getting ready to start. They will still play from my left. It seems we're not switching sides here at each period, even though usually we do. Zoe Graves with the ball to start for Natick. She kicks it back to Holly Browning. Browning boots it into the air. We're underway here in the 2nd quarter. It bounces into the hands of Brookline's Talia Thompson. She rolls it over to Lindsay Mahoney. Mahoney dribbling with it. Kicks it ahead looking for Maddie Moore, but it's deflected by Lily Monago. Deflected off a couple feet, winds up with Zoe Graves. She passes it back looking for Emily Bubonovich. And a couple more retreating passes. Natick still in control of it. It gets sent back to number 17, Abby Beagle. Beagle trying to pass it, almost taken away by Brookline, but booted towards midfield, and we've got a foul call. So this will be a free kick for Natick. And it looks like it'll be taken by Kira Hacker. She boots it in the air towards the box. A deflection, and oh, that's in! I think that bounced off a defender. Yeah, I think that the crowd almost wasn't sure how to react. But yeah, that bounced off a Brookline defender, and that goes in, and that counts. So the goal technically goes to Kira Hacker, who booted the free kick towards the box. It deflects off a defender's foot and rolls into the net, and it'll be 1-0 in favor of Natick. Brookline taking it. Frankel passes it back to Ansley Washburn, who then passes it along the far side. An attempted centering pass is taken away by Holly Browning. Kicked ahead, but nobody there except Caroline Wolf, who chases it down and lets it roll out of bounds for a goal kick. 1-0 the score here in the second quarter. Natick leads Brookline as Thompson kicks it over to Lindsay Mahoney, who then sends a centering kick over to Hope Leshley. They send it along the far side, and then they kick it towards the center, looking for Sari Frankel. It gets taken away for a second, but then fought for and taken back by Gianna Pentland. Pentland dribbles in retreat, and then a centering pass over to Leshley. Leshley sends it along the far side. They try to kick it ahead, but it's taken away for a second, and then taken back by Washburn, passed over to Leshley, passed over along the near side to Seifert. Seifert passes to Leshley, then to Maddie Moore. Maddie Moore tried to work her way through, but couldn't do it. It gets deflected back to Leshley. Leshley now dribbling, running into some traffic. She sends a retreating pass back to Caroline Wolf. Wolf dribbles for a second, then passes it over to Mahoney. Mahoney dribbling with it. Kicks it over to Alex Levy. Levy sends it back to Seifert. Seifert centering kick, looking for Washburn. Washburn trying to fight her way through a couple defenders. She manages to, sends it ahead to Frankel. Frankel runs into a wall, and I think she managed to draw a foul. Good foul draw by Sari Frankel around midfield, as Brookline will now be able to get a more set attack going. Looks like Caroline Wolf will be tapping it for Hope Leshley. Indeed, it's tapped back to Leshley. Leshley sends a pass over along the far side. It's kicked back towards the center, taken away for a second, but then taken back by Leshley. Leshley now trying to fight around her defender. Still trying to fight around, some fancy footwork there, and she managed to send a pass over to Frankel. Frankel has to dribble in retreat, sends a pass looking for Pentland, gets away from her, and is taken away by Natick. An attempted retreating pass to Lagan, who kicks it back to Jeter, the goalie. Jeter kicks it along the far side, but it deflects off the foot and out of bounds, so Brookline will have the inbounds kick deep in the Natick end. .16:20 left here in the second quarter. The Natick Redhawks leading the Brookline Warriors 1-0 in this, the inaugural Route 9 Cup. Brookline taps it in. A boot towards the box. They were looking for Alex Levy, but gets deflected out by a couple defenders. Washburn tried to deflect it back in, but it gets deflected out once again. And now Brookline trying to chase down the deflection. It's Gianna Pentland fighting for the ball. She loses it out of bounds. Despite being double-teamed by the defenders, they're going to say that was off of Brookline. It'll be Natick ball. Inbounds kick goes to Browning. Browning tries to kick it, deflected, taken away by Brookline. They had a little bit of space to work with for a second, but a heads-up play by the Natick defense takes it away. Some retreating kicks go all the way back to Allison Jeter, the goalie. Jeter kicks it into space. It winds up at the foot of Seifert, but it gets deflected back to Natick. They try and kick it, deflected by Leshley, but then another foul. That's going to be called against Alex Levy. The foul drawn by number 6, Emily Bubonovich. So the free kick will be taken by Kira Hacker. Instead, she taps it over to number 17, Abby Beagle. Beagle kicks it across midfield. Now there's a chase for the ball, and it looks like it's going to be won by Campana. Eliza Campana was dribbling with it for a second, but then had it taken away, I believe, by Leshley. Couple passes around in a triangle, and it goes back to Leshley, then back to Seifert, then ahead to Maddie Moore. Gets deflected away. Leshley tried to chase it down. Another deflection. It's taken by Holly Browning. Browning now dribbling with it, sends a pass back, kicked into the box, a deflection, booted into the air by Mahoney, kicked back towards the box by Browning, chased down by Mahoney, again kicked back out. It goes right to Lily Monago. Monago kicks it towards the box, and it bounces into the arms of Thompson. Thompson rolls it in. Centering pass over to Hope Leshley. Passed over to Ansley Washburn. And it looks like we got a foul draw. Nice foul draw by Kellen McNamara along the far side for Brookline. And so Brookline will be able to get set for a cleaner, clear play. Caroline Wolf kicks it over to Lindsay Mahoney. Mahoney still dribbling with it. Eventually kicks it ahead to Frankel. Frankel kicks it into the air. A bit of a battle for the ball. The kick is deflected, and it goes back to Hacker. Hacker kicks it back to Jeter. Jeter kicks it over to Lagon along the far side, and Lagon loses it out of bounds. That'll be an inbounds kick for Brookline. Looks like it'll be McNamara tapping it in for Gianna Pentland. It's tapped to Pentland. Pentland winds up, boots it into the air, deflected off a couple players, and taken by Natick. A pass along the far side looking for Eliza Campana, and she loses it out of bounds. So Brookline takes the ball again. And it'll be Mila Seifert tapping it over to, I believe, Maddie Moore. Indeed she does. Moore dribbles for a sec, tries to kick it, deflected. Alex Levy trying to chase it down, trying to take it away from another defender now. She takes it away from Monago, and they say it went out of bounds, and they say it went off Natick. So that'll be Brookline ball. Another kick. Seifert looking to Moore once again. It's passed back. Another retreating pass is intercepted by Campana for a second. And then a battle for the ball with Levy results in another out-of-bounds deflection. So Brookline has the ball again along the near side. Seifert getting ready to kick it in. She taps back to Moore. Moore this time boots it towards the center. It's taken by Natick for a second, but then taken away by Frankel. She turns around, boots it down the far side. Maddie Moore's chasing after it. Can she keep it in bounds? She can. Turns around, tries to kick it towards the center, but they're going to call either out of bounds or offside, so I'm not sure which they're calling. But either way, Allison Jeter kicks it to Kira Hacker. Hacker boots it into the air. Ball is deflected out of bounds, and they'll say it's off Brookline. Eliza Campana and Mila Seifert were battling for the ball, and last touched by Seifert. Lily Monago now with the inbounds kick. She kicks it to Holly Browning. Browning dribbling around midfield, trying to work the transition. She gets some space and boots it further down into the Brookline end. It's being chased down with a lot of speed by an Natick player. Kicked over to Zoe Graves. She manages to get control of it, passes it back, and the kick goes well over the crossbar and out of bounds. Attempted shot by number 6, Emily Bubanovic. We got some substitutions coming in for Brookline. A lot of the starters coming back in, including Daniela Levy, Melanie Chernin, Samantha Friedman, and Zoe Fagnan, as well as one other player, Sarah Gonzalez. Thompson kicks it in to Mahoney. Lindsay Mahoney dribbling with it. Still dribbling, kicks it ahead to Fagnan. Fagnan had it for a second, and then it was kicked away, but kicked out of bounds. That'll be off of Lily Monago of Natick, so it'll be Brookline ball. They have the inbounds kick. Fagnan taps it in for Gonzalez. Gonzalez dribbles for a second, tries to send a pass, gets deflected away and taken away by Natick. Monago sends it up to Campana, who then sends it back to Grady. Kicked ahead to Graves, then tapped around again, goes back to Grady, passed to Monago. Monago dribbling along the near side, battling against Gonzalez. She sends a pass along. It looks like it's going to find Zoe Graves. No, it's not. It's going to go too far. That's going to be out of bounds. It's going to be a goal kick for Brookline. 10 minutes left in the half, and Natick currently leads Brookline 1-0. Talia Thompson with the goal kick. She sends it over to Lindsay Mahoney. Mahoney dribbling with it, kicks it towards midfield. It's taken by Daniela Levy, dribbling with it, almost has it taken away by Grady. Then an attempted kick, it's deflected. Goes to Campana, and then a long pass towards the center. Natick trying to get something set. It's kicked back to Kira Hacker. Hacker, an attempted centering pass, deflected, and then kicked into the air. I believe that's Friedman. Now, the ball in the air was being chased by Fagnan, and they're going to call a foul on Natick as they got a little too aggressive trying to get through Fagnan to get to the ball. That's going to be against Briar Grady. Sarah Gonzalez lining up for the indirect kick as she taps it for Lindsay Mahoney. Mahoney then passes it over to Caroline Wolf. Wolf sends the pass ahead looking for Washburn, but it gets deflected away and is kicked ahead. Now Zoe Graves with it. Sends a pass over to Campana along the near side. Campana dribbling, trying to gain the edge. A centering kick. Deflected and deflected out, but back to Campana. Campana now attempted a pass to Grady, and Grady's kick goes well wide of the net. Natick getting most of the attack chances today. It's only resulted in one score and an own goal at that. Technically credited to Kira Hacker, as she had the free kick that floated into the box and bounced off the foot of a defender. The goal kick goes from Thompson to Mahoney. Mahoney dribbles and tries to kick it, deflected by Monago, taken by Graves. Graves turns around, shoots, just wide of the net. Thompson was chasing it and decided to let that one go out of bounds. Some nice situational awareness by Talia Thompson. Thompson getting ready for the kick, boots it into the air. Bounces off of Alex Levy. Lily Monago tried to kick it out, a couple deflections, and it winds up back with Natick. It's sent back to Hacker, then sent back to Jeter. Jeter dribbling with it, sends a pass along to Monago along the near side, tapped over to Hacker. Hacker dribbling, sends a pass ahead, looking for Campana, but it goes out of bounds. Sarah Gonzalez will have the inbounds kick. She taps it over to Zoe Fagnan. Fagnan tries to dribble and immediately loses it out of bounds. She was being chased by Eliza Campana. Lily Monago getting ready for the inbounds kick. She taps it over to Hacker. Hacker tries to tap it back to Monago, a bit out of her reach, and it goes out of bounds. So it'll be Brookline ball now, as both teams trying to maintain possession along the near sideline and struggling to do so. We got 7 minutes left here in the second quarter. Brookline with the inbounds kick, this time to Fagnan once again. She boots it all the way across the field, deflected by one of the Natick players. Rolls into the arms of Thompson. Thompson getting ready to boot this one into the air. She boots it towards midfield. Few players fighting in the scrum for the ball. Ultimately tapped ahead by Natick and taken by Zoe Graves for a second. But being chased by Brookline players. Now more deflections. It goes into the air. Being chased after by a couple players. Taken by Natick. A retreating pass sent back to Beagle. Beagle sends it back to Jeter. Jeter winds up and boots it into the air towards midfield. Deflected by Chernin. Then kicked by Grady. Now a pass. Back and forth it goes back to Grady. Now she sends a pass ahead looking for Campana, but well out of her reach. And it goes to the foot of Talia Thompson. Thompson decides to pick it up and roll it over to Caroline Wolf. Wolf kicks it ahead to Washburn. Washburn dribbling with it, has it taken away. It goes to Campana. Campana sends it ahead to Graves. Graves tried to send a pass, kicked out by a Brookline defender. Kicked back in by a Natick player, and it goes into the arms of Talia Thompson. That was Kellen McNamara on the defense there for Brookline. Thompson winds up, punts it towards midfield. Deflection by Beagle. Goes right to Natick. Another deflected ball. It goes to Graves. Graves battling for the ball. She gets surrounded, and it gets kicked away by the Brookline defense. It bounces back to Monago for a second, but kicked away. And it ends up going back to Hacker, who kicks it back to Beagle. Beagle turns around and sends it back to Jeter. Jeter kicks it back. Gets away from Beagle, kicked ahead by Friedman, and it bounces into the arms of Allison Jeter. So that'll count as the first shot on goal, technically, for Brookline, as Jeter boots it towards midfield. Bit of a chase for the ball, but it's ultimately won by the Redhawks. Grady kicks it ahead to Campana. Campana tries to send it ahead, but can't control it, and it's taken by Mahoney. Mahoney kicks it over to the far side to McNamara. McNamara being chased, trying to maintain control of it. It's lost out of bounds, and they'll say it's off Natick. So Brookline will maintain possession here along the far sideline. It's tapped in, booted ahead, goes off the foot of Levy. Another scrum for the ball, won by Levy, passed over to Alex Levy. Alex Levy turns around, kicks it, looking for Samantha Friedman along the far side, and out of bounds. So it'll be an inbounds kick for Natick. 4 minutes left to go in the half. Natick with the inbounds kick. They send it around. They send it back to Allison Jeter, who winds up and kicks it towards the far side. And it's taken away by Samantha Friedman. An attempted insert pass gets deflected out, but chased back down by Friedman. She inserts again to Chernin. Chernin tries to send it out to Washburn. It goes wide, but chased down by McNamara. Now more chasing for the ball, and I think they lost control of it. So that'll go out of bounds. So it'll be an inbounds kick just near the corner for Natick. 3:10 to go in the half now. Score 1-0 in favor of Natick. Ball is tapped inbounds. Kira Hacker boots it into the air. We got a bit of a scrum for the ball. Both teams fighting for it, and it goes out of bounds off Natick. So Brookline will take over possession. Tapped in, being dribbled by Friedman. Friedman tries to send an insert looking for Alex Levy. It gets deflected out. Now being controlled by Natick, and I think they're going to call the foul on Alex Levy. Bit too physical, trying to get the ball away from Briar Grady. Just under 2.5 minutes left in the second quarter here. This will be Abby Beagle with the kick. She kicks it towards the center, looking for Grady. Grady taps it back, and it gets taken away by Alex Levy. Alex Levy's got some space to work with, and she gets taken down from behind by Abby Beagle, and that's going to be a foul. So Brookline with a real chance here. They're at around the 25-yard line of what would ordinarily be the Natick football field. The goal, of course, stands in the end zone. And they're saying it's a direct kick, so Zoe Fagnan lining up. She boots it into the air towards the box. Couple deflections, but it rolls away and is booted out by Natick. They boot it all the way to midfield, and it's taken by Eliza Campana. She dribbles towards the center. She's got some space to work with. She's trying to take it all the way. She's trying to gain the edge along the far side. Fakes out a defender. Dribbles back. Tries a centering pass. It gets booted into the air by Brookline. Now being downed by Briar Grady. Grady winds up and shoots, deflected away by Wolf. And then the ball is chased down and kicked out of bounds by Kellen McNamara. Scary chance there for Brookline, as a good chance on the attack all of a sudden put them on their heels. But they managed to recover in time and get things reset out of bounds along the far sideline. We're in stoppage time now for the second quarter. Redhawks tap it in. Trying to gain the edge, they kick towards the box. Immediately deflected out by Brookline, but I think we might be getting a corner kick here. First corner kick of the game. It'll go to Natick in stoppage time of the second period. They quickly kick it in. And I think they're saying they were a bit too hasty there. You can understand the haste, though. They're running out of time here in the half. You don't want to waste a good chance like this. Tapped, booted towards the box. Deflected. Oh, saved by Thompson! Unreal. Point blank, perfect deflection. I believe it was Zoe Graves who deflected it towards the net. Unbelievable hand-eye coordination by Talia Thompson there to make that save. And it'll be another corner kick for Natick. They kick it towards the box again. And Thompson dives in front of it and gets the save. And on that note, we end the second quarter, so we are halfway through. The Natick Redhawks lead the Brookline Warriors here in the inaugural Route 9 Cup 1-0, courtesy of a goal technically by Kira Hacker, but really deflected off a Brookline defender's foot. So 1-0 the score as we head into halftime. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, live from Natick, Massachusetts, and I'll be back after a mute break. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome back to Natick High School in Natick, Massachusetts. My name is Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. I'm here bringing you live coverage of the inaugural Route 9 Cup, this high school girls soccer contest between the visiting Warriors of Brookline High School and the hosting Redhawks of Natick High. The score currently is in favor of the home team, Natick leading 1-0 after a goal by Kira Hacker that was technically an own goal for Brookline. The teams now switch sides, Brookline in white playing from my left, Natick in red playing from my right, and Brookline will start with it. They got Daniela Levy and Sari Frankel in the center getting ready to get this started, and we're underway. Levy taps it to Frankel. Frankel dribbles with it, sends a retreating pass along the near side to Mia Pujols-Briseno. Briseno taps it ahead to Melanie Chernin, who then taps it along to Hope Leshley. Leshley dribbles with it, passes it ahead to Sari Frankel. Frankel now dribbling with it, sends it along the near side to Samantha Friedman. Friedman trying to gain the edge on her defender, running out of room here, turns back, dribbles towards the center, kicks it towards the center, attempted deflection, but it gets away from them. It goes back to another Brookline player, kicks it in, and saved by Allison Jeter. A nice shot attempt there for Brookline. I think that was Zoe Fagnan. That's just about the second shot on goal for Brookline as Jeter boots it in the air, and we've got a foul call on Brookline. Got a little aggressive there with the over the back. And so it'll be a free kick for Natick close to midfield. Kira Hacker, the lone goal scorer today, getting ready. It looks like it's going to be an indirect kick, so Abby Beagle will tap it for her. And then Hacker boots it in the air, getting towards the box, deflected by Natick, then kicked away by Brookline. That was Hope Leshley who booted it all the way back to the Natick end. Beagle taps it back to Jeter. Jeter tries to kick it ahead, taken for a second by Friedman, but she fell down, and now it's taken by Natick. Passed ahead to number 11, Kayla Henderson. Henderson dribbling along the far side, passes it ahead to Zoe Graves. Graves has it deflected out of bounds by Caroline Wolf, and so it'll remain Natick ball. Of course, Graves had a chance to make it a two-score game, a really good chance, but a fantastic save by Talia Thompson towards the end of the first half kept it at 1-0. Natick now on the attack. They kick it in. It's deflected and kicked away by Melanie Chernin. Kicked ahead to Sari Frankel, who then kicks it further ahead. Chased down by the Natick defense. Turns around and kicks. I think that was Abby Beagle. It deflects off of Henderson. And Natick maintains control. It's passed around, goes to Holly Browning. Browning sends a pass along to Hacker. Hacker kicks it ahead along the far side. Still dribbling with it. Natick looking for the opening. They send a pass back. They've got some space to work with. Centering pass now. I believe this is Briar Grady. Grady boots it towards the box. One hops into the arms of Talia Thompson. Thompson rolls it for Chernin. Chernin controls it. Trying to dribble around Browning. She does. Passes it ahead to Daniela Levy. Levy turns around, kicks it ahead looking for Friedman, but it goes long. And it's controlled by Beagle. Beagle tries to take it. Oh, it's taken away by Friedman. Friedman trying to fight through the defender, and we've got a whistle. That's going to be a foul call. And that's going to be a foul call against Abby Beagle. So this is going to be a free kick for Brookline. I think they were just outside of the penalty box. So this is going to be a real interesting play here. Brookline getting ready for the free kick. They got to bring someone over to tap it since it's an indirect kick. It looks like they're sending Samantha Friedman over to tap it for Hope Leshley. As it looks like Brookline's getting ready for a set kick towards the box. We'll see what happens here as they get lined up. There's the whistle. The kick over to Leshley. Leshley boots it high into the air, and it's wide on the near side. Bounces off the near post and out of bounds. Jeter just patiently waited for it to fall out of bounds. And so it'll be a goal kick for Allison Jeter. Jeter running up and boots it high into the air towards midfield. It bounces along the far side. A scrum for the ball, won by Brookline. Fagnan with the attempted insert kick. Gets deflected away. Now another scrum for the ball. And I think we're going to have a foul call here. Yep, it looks like it'll be a call against the Natick Redhawks. And so the Brookline Warriors will get another free kick. Looks like they're going to say it's a direct kick, so Brookline's going to try and boot it just towards the box directly. It's kicked high into the air, and oh, off the crossbar! And then off another Brookline player and out of bounds. Oh, what an amazing kick. I believe that was Hope Leshley who made the direct kick, and that just bounced off the top and did not bounce in. We've had a couple of plays off the crossbar today, one on each side now, as Jeter gets ready for another goal kick. She kicks it towards midfield, and it's taken by Melanie Chernin. She manages to get control of it for a second, but then it gets taken away. A couple deflections. Now Natick with the ball. I believe that is number 6, Emily Bubanovic, who had it for a second. Now some retreating passes. It goes back to Jeter. Kicks it towards midfield. Taken for a second by Natick. Fight for the ball, and they're going to call the foul on Brookline. A nice foul draw there by number 11, Kayla Henderson. And it'll be a free kick for Natick. Hacker sends it along the far side. And now it's passed ahead to Henderson. Henderson trying to gain the edge. Trying to fight her way through a defender, but it's taken away by the Brookline defense. That's Mila Seifert with a nice defense there, but she's forced to kick it out of bounds. She ran out of room there. So it'll be an inbounds kick for Natick along the far side. Wait for the whistle. Now they tap it, kick towards the box. It's just a little far and over the net, out of bounds. That'll be a goal kick for Thompson. 13.5 minutes on the clock here in the third quarter of play here at the inaugural Route 9 Cup. The Natick Redhawks leading the Brookline Warriors 1-0. Thompson kicks it to Wolf. Wolf tries to kick it ahead. It gets to Chernin as she fights off a couple defenders, gets around another. Tries to send a pass ahead. She finds Frankel. Frankel being well defended. She has to run away. Taps it to Pujols-Braceno. Pujols-Braceno tried to tap it. Deflected, but she regains it. Dribbles, but runs into traffic, and it's taken away, and it's kicked ahead. This one goes to Eliza Campana. She dribbles along the near side. Then a centering pass, and a pass back to the outside Campana. Campana's got it again. She's being chased by Friedman. And the ball gets knocked out of bounds, and that's going to remain in Natick's possession. Natick will have the inbounds kick deep in the Brookline end. It looks like it's going to be tapped to Kira Hacker from Lily Manago. It's tapped. It's kicked towards the box. They're looking for a player. Almost had it at the foot of Kayla Henderson, but she just lost control as it rolls towards the far side, and she loses it out of bounds. A nice idea there, but execution didn't quite work, and instead Brookline will have an inbounds kick. They send it along the far side ahead to Zoe Fagnan. Fagnan attempted centering pass. It's wide of Chernin, and instead it is taken away by Campana. Campana dribbling with it, being chased by Chernin, and Chernin almost took it away, but instead lost control of it, and it's out of bounds. That'll be Natick ball, and I think that, they're actually going to say it was a foul against Chernin, and so it'll be an indirect kick. Manago is going to tap it for Hacker once again. Manago taps it. Hacker boots it towards the box. This could be dangerous. But no one was able to chase it down, and it bounces out of bounds. It'll be another goal kick for Thompson. Thompson kicks it over to Lindsay Mahoney. Mahoney tries to dribble, and it gets taken away for a second by Zoe Graves. Goes out of bounds, so Brookline will have the inbounds kick deep in its own end. Brookline lines up for the inbounds kick. They try and kick it deep downfield. It gets deflected out of bounds immediately by Natick, so it'll stay in almost the exact same spot. They go for it again. Kick it down the far side this time, but downed by Natick. They try and kick ahead. A couple deflections. Winds up back with Natick. Centering pass over to Bubanovic. Pass back to Beagle. Beagle sends a retreating pass back to Jeter as they got a couple Brookline players in pursuit. Jeter passes it along the far side. Now kicked further down, but deflected out of bounds by Brookline. I believe that was Mila Seifert who touched the ball last. Natick will have the inbounds kick. Tapped inbounds. They try and fight through the defender. And I think we got a foul call against Natick. Well defended by Brookline. I think that was Zoe Fagnan who was on the defense there. Ball gets tapped into her. She dribbles towards the center. Pass looking for Chernin. Finds Chernin. Chernin fights her way around to the defender. Lost the ball for a second, but it's recovered by Samantha Friedman. She dribbles. Passes ahead. Looking for Levy. Levy shoots. Save! And we got a loose ball, but it's dived on by Allison Jeter. What an effort. A great offensive set by Brookline. And a nice chance for the Warriors, but well saved by keeper Allison Jeter, who boots it into the air. Deflected, taken by Brookline for a second. They're trying to get a pass going, and it's kicked out of bounds by a Natick defender, or... Oh, they're going to call a foul on Brookline. They're going to say that Samantha Friedman was getting too physical trying to chase after the ball. So instead it'll be a free kick for Natick. They kick it towards midfield. Bounced off a couple people, kicked into the air, deflected again. Being chased after by a couple players, one by Eliza Campana, passed back, then passed ahead. Another pass, and it goes to Zoe Graves. Zoe Graves dribbling with some space to work. She turns around, fakes the shot, tries a centering pass, deflects away, but goes back to another Natick player. Another kick is deflected. It goes to Graves, and I think they're going to call the foul on Mia Pujols-Braceno. So Zoe Graves draws the penalty, and it'll be another free kick for Natick. It looks like it's going to be Monago to Hacker once again for the indirect kick, and it looks like it's going to head towards the box. Another dangerous chance for the Redhawks. Tap, booted. This one's flying right towards the net, and it's just over it. Talia Thompson had her arm stretched out as high as she could go, and the ball went just over the net. And we got a couple substitutions for Brookline. We got Alex Levy and Gianna Pentland checking in. As Thompson kicks it to Wolf, then back to Thompson. And Thompson kicks it ahead towards midfield. A couple of deflections, a battle for the ball. And eventually it's taken by Hope Leshley. Leshley trying to fight through a couple defenders. Runs into a wall, and they're going to call a foul on Natick, I believe. 7:20 to go here in the third quarter of play. Natick leading Brookline 1-0. Caroline Wolf with the free kick. She kicks it ahead to Melanie Chernin. Chernin trying to dribble around a defender. She eventually decides to pass it, and it gets deflected away, and a couple chases for the ball, but ultimately booted out by Natick towards midfield. Deflected, but then Natick manages to take it. That's Kayla Henderson dribbling along the far side. Sends a retreating pass. It's booted into the air towards the center. Winds up at the foot of Gianna Pentland. Pentland dribbling with it. Passes over to Pujols-Braceno. Back to Pentland. Taken away. And now this is Eliza Campana dribbling with speed. She got past Pujols-Braceno. The last wall is Caroline Wolf, and she kicks it away and out of bounds. There's a reason that Lindsay Mahoney and Caroline Wolf are the last line of defense for Brookline, and it's plays like that, you know, good, patient, and calm move by Caroline Wolf to act as the last line of defense there. Is now an inbounds tap, goes to Hacker, then back to Monago. Monago dribbling with it, tries to kick it in, deflected. Goes back to Hacker. Hacker turns around, tries to kick it towards the box, and it bounces twice and into the hands of Thompson. Thompson holding the ball. Punts it towards midfield. It deflects off an Natick player's foot, back towards the Brookline end. Off the foot of Graves, off the foot of Wolf, but she raised her leg too high, I guess. And so it'll be another free kick for Natick. Holly Browning lining up, looking for who's going to actually take the kick. My guess is it's going to be Hacker again. Or no, it looks like they're going to tap for Holly Browning. It's tapped. Browning winds up, kicks, and it goes over the bar once again. Natick has had a number of chances. They've been winning the possession game handily, and it's given them a number of free kicks to send towards the box. As Talia Thompson with another goal kick, she sends it to the far side looking for Fagnan. Fagnan tried to keep it in bounds but couldn't do it, and it'll be Natick ball once again. Natick with the inbounds kick. They pass it around, boot it towards the box. It deflects off Pujols-Braceno. Now a couple players chasing after it. Pujols-Braceno trying to clear it, can't do it, and that's going to go out of bounds. I think that's going to be a corner kick. The pressure coming from Eliza Campana as she forced Pujols-Braceno to kick it out of bounds. 4.5 minutes left in the third period. Natick leads Brookline 1-0, and now they've got a corner kick. Good chance to make things happen. Looks like Lily Monago is going to tap it over to Kira Hacker for the kick towards the box in this indirect kick. Monago taps it, Hacker kicks it, and we've got a whistle. I guess they didn't do the play properly. So many rules around this as the clock continues to tick down. We're at 3:45 to go in the quarter now. Now they've got the whistle. And tapped over to Hacker. Hacker kicks it towards the box. Deflected. Oh, what a save by Thompson! You've got to be kidding me! Unreal! Talia Thompson, have yourself a game. As once again, a point-blank deflection out of bounds and over the bar. And so it'll be another corner kick for Natick. They set it up, boot towards the box again. It bounces away from everybody, deflected and wide. Wide of the net that time. But how about Talia Thompson? She's made a couple of big saves to keep this a one-score game. If Brookline is able to get back in this, she has to receive all the credit in the world. As now she kicks back and forth with Lindsay Mahoney, and now Mahoney tries to send it along the far side. A couple passes and it winds up out of bounds, so Natick will take the ball back. Natick getting ready for the inbounds kick. And it's booted ahead and runs into a wall, deflected, taken by Brookline's Hope Leshley. Then she was chased by defenders. Zoe Fagnan cut in to kick it ahead, but it's deflected by a Natick defender. And now a scrum for the ball. It's won by Natick. And Holly Browning tried to turn around and shoot, but it goes high and wide. Defensive pressure coming from Caroline Wolf. We're about to enter stoppage time here in the third period of the inaugural Route 9 Cup. The Natick Redhawks leading the visiting Brookline Warriors 1-0. Talia Thompson kicks it towards midfield. It's corralled by Sari Frankel. She sends it ahead to Gianna Pentland. Pentland's got some space to work. She's being chased by Abby Beagle. She sends the shot, and it bounces easily into the hands of Allison Jeter. Pentland would have liked to get a little closer before she took that shot, but she was being chased by Abby Beagle. And so it ends up a harmless save. Booted towards midfield. Now a scrum for the ball. Won by Hope Leshley. Tapped ahead, but taken away for a second by Natick, but it goes back to Lindsay Mahoney. Passed over to Caroline Wolf. Booted towards the far side for Zoe Fagnan. Fagnan corrals it, passes it back to Seifert. Seifert boots it into the air. It's going down to the Natick end. It's being corralled for a second by a defender. That's Beagle, who taps it over to Monago. Monago turns around, tries to kick it ahead, but it winds up at the foot of Pujols-Braceno. She kicks it towards the box, but nobody's there. It's being chased down by Brookline. That's Fagnan trying to kick it towards the box once again. It goes out of bounds, and I think that's going to be a goal kick for Natick. We are now in stoppage time of the third period of the inaugural Route 9 Cup, this high school girls soccer game between the hosting Natick High Redhawks and the visiting Brookline High Warriors. Natick leading 1-0 off a second period goal by Kira Hacker. And now the goalie, Allison Jeter, going for the goal kick. She boots it towards midfield. A bit of a scrum for the ball, but now Natick kicks it ahead. They're trying to work along the far side. They've got speed. They gain the edge, but they're losing control of the ball, and it rolls out of bounds. That'll be a goal kick for Brookline. Talia Thompson getting ready for the goal kick. She boots it towards midfield. Couple deflections. Winds up with Emily Bubonovich. She kicks it back to Kira Hacker. Hacker boots it into the air. Deflected by Lindsay Mahoney, and there's the whistle. So after 3 quarters of play, the Natick Redhawks lead the Brookline Warriors 1-0 as we get ready for the final quarter of play of this inaugural Route 9 Cup. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, coming to you live from Natick High School in Natick, Massachusetts. I'll be back after a short mute break. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome back to Natick High School in Natick, Massachusetts. My name is Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, and I'm here to bring you the 4th and final period of regulation in this high school girls soccer match, the inaugural Route 9 Cup, between the hosting Natick High Redhawks and the visiting Brookline High Warriors. The current score, Natick leading 1-0 off a second period goal by Kira Hacker. That was a high free kick into the box that was deflected off the foot of a Brookline defender. Technically an own goal, but technically on the score box, it winds up as a goal for Kira Hacker. Natick has had a number of great chances since then to extend their lead to multiple goals, perhaps put a dagger in this thing, but some great efforts by the Brookline defense, and especially by goalkeeper Talia Thompson, who has made a couple of really great point-blank saves on some corner plays to keep her team in this game as we get ready for the 4th quarter of play. I mean, I know I've talked about Talia Thompson quite a bit this game, but you really do have to give her credit, especially when you consider she was the backup goalie starting this season. Of course, the starting goalie, Juliana Anastopoulos, suffered a head injury in a game at Newton North a couple weeks back. You know, we certainly wish her a speedy recovery, but Talia Thompson giving all the effort she can in the time that she's getting. So Natick will start with the ball to start this game. They kick it back and boot it into the air, and we are underway. It bounces right into the hands of Thompson. She rolls it over to Lindsay Mahoney. Mahoney boots it towards midfield, deflected by Holly Browning. Deflected again by Mila Seifert, winds up at the foot, I believe, of Zoe Fagnan. Gets taken away, but then taken back by Hope Leshley. She tries to send a through pass, gets away from a couple players, kicked away by a Natick defender. A couple deflections, winds up at the foot of Holly Browning again. She tries to send a pass ahead to Zoe Graves, but not there, and it's going to roll out of bounds, and it's going to be a goal kick for Brookline. Brookline's had some trouble with the possession game this game, and it's resulted in a lot of scoring chances for Natick. And they got the one goal they needed thus far as Thompson rolls it to Mahoney. Mahoney tries to kick it ahead, a scrum for the ball, and they're going to call a foul on Natick. So Brookline will have the free kick. It's kicked back to Mahoney. Mahoney decides to dribble forward and then kick it across midfield. And we got a whistle. I think they're going to call another foul on Natick. They got a little too aggressive defending against Sari Frankel. And it looks like Hope Leshley is going to wind up for the free kick. Caroline Wolf taps it back to Leshley. Leshley boots it towards the box, bounces, deflected for a second. Jeter almost didn't have a handle on it, but Allison Jeter able to recover. She rolls it ahead to Holly Browning, who then manages to tap it over for a teammate. It's kicked ahead to Kayla Henderson. Henderson tries to kick it, deflected by Leshley, taken away by Melanie Chernin, but then she lost it, and it's taken by Zoe Graves. Graves tries to pass it, but intercepted. I believe that's Leshley. Leshley then has it stolen away by Graves. Graves now with the ball, dribbling with it, looking for an option. Fakes out one defender, passes over to Holly Browning, but then it's kicked away by Leshley, then kicked back in by a Natick player. Deflected by Mia Pujols-Braceno, deflected by Graves. booted away, I believe, by Leshley. Abby Beagle trying to corral it. She manages to kick it away from the scrum, but it goes right to the foot of Hope Leshley. Leshley trying to maintain control. She passes it back to Mila Seifert. Seifert then passes it back to Lindsay Mahoney. Mahoney dribbling with it. She passes it ahead. Ends up being deflected and taken away by Natick. Natick now working with it, dribbling towards the center. And they lose control of it, and it rolls into the arms of Talia Thompson. Thompson rolls it for Chernin. Melanie Chernin dribbling with it. Passes it over to Mia Pujols-Braceno along the near side. She kicks it ahead, looking for Daniela Levy. She had it for a second, taken away by Abby Beagle. A scrum for the ball now, won by Holly Browning. Browning tries to send a pass ahead, looking for Henderson. Henderson chasing it down the near side, but couldn't catch up with it, and it goes out of bounds. That'll be another goal kick for Brookline. Just under 17 minutes to go in regulation. Natick still leads Brookline 1-0 here in the Route 9 Cup. Thompson boots it into the air. It deflects off of Lily Bubonovich. Emily Bubonovich. It gets sent back to Kira Hacker. She dribbles with it, and I think they called a foul on Brookline. Kira Hacker, of course, responsible for the game's lone goal. She taps it, and then it gets tapped back to Hacker. She dribbles, turns around, and boots it deep into the Brookline end, taken by Graves. Some nice footwork as she taps it over to Browning, but Browning lost control, taken away by Pujols-Braceno, tapped ahead for Samantha Friedman. Friedman dribbles, tries to kick it ahead, but it gets away from Daniela Levy. Jeter runs up and boots it herself. Deflected back into the air by Brookline. And back over to the Natick end. They're trying to maintain control of it, but they lose it out of bounds. I think they're going to say that's off Natick, though. So it'll be an inbounds kick for Brookline, just past midfield. They try and make things work, booted it into the air. Daniela Levy was fighting for the ball, but lost it, and it looks like she might have got hurt on that play. There's some more battles for the ball, but Daniela Levy is now squatting down on the field around the 25-yard line. I think she was holding her arm. I think that may have been a hard collision going for the ball. And it looks like Levy is going to have to potentially come out, at least temporarily. That's a tough player to lose for Brookline. Daniela Levy has been such a great part of their offense throughout the season, and a veteran leader on the pitch. You certainly don't want to lose her at any point, but certainly not when you're trailing. But either way, it'll be Alex Levy coming in as a substitution with 15.5 minutes left to play in regulation. It'll be a free kick for Natick. Kira Hacker boots it into the air. Down into the Brookline end. Scrum for the ball. One for a second by Seifert. And then the ball is deflected out of bounds by Natick. So Brookline will maintain possession. It's tapped in. They're trying to dribble with it. I think that's Zoe Fagnan who is trying to kick it ahead, and it gets deflected out of bounds by Natick once again. So Brookline maintains possession along the far sideline as they go for another inbounds kick. Kick it in. Now they boot it across midfield in the air. A couple bounces. Now there's a chase for the ball. It's going to be won by Samantha Friedman. She's dribbling along the near side. She boots it and wide. Goes out of bounds. It was wide along the near side. Allison Jeter saw it. Didn't panic and let it fly out of bounds. And she'll line up for another goal kick. Jeter winds up and boots it towards midfield. Leshley tried to deflect it, but whiffed. Instead, it's deflected by Graves. Passed ahead, a couple passes ahead. Kayla Henderson chasing it down, trying to get a pass deflected away by Thompson. Aggressive charge there. That could have backfired horribly, but great defense there by the Brookline goalie. A couple of deflections, a scrum for the ball, and then it's ultimately kicked out of bounds, I believe, by Natick. Indeed, it'll be Brookline ball. Talia Thompson, I feel like I keep saying that name tonight, but with good reason. She has been having herself a ball game thus far. We've now got another substitution for Brookline. Zoe Fagnan checking into the game. She replaces Melanie Chernin. We got another inbounds kick. Brookline now dribbling along the far side, trying to make things happen. Pass goes over to Hope Leshley, tries to send it along the far side, and it goes out of bounds. So Natick takes over in the Brookline end, just under 13 minutes left to play. Natick, of course, leading 1-0 over Brookline as we get ready for the inbounds kick. It's tapped in. Passed ahead now. They're along the far side. It's deflected by a Brookline defender, now deflected into the air, towards the center, towards midfield, and now Natick gets control of it again. That's Briar Grady. Passes it along the far side once again. Gets deflected away, but goes back to Grady. Grady now trying to work her way around a couple defenders. Another pass over to the far side. They turn around, kick it towards the center, but booted out instantly by Lindsay Mahoney. Battle for the ball. Won again by Natick. And they boot it into the box and into the arms of Thompson. This one's booted into the air. High into the air towards midfield. High bounce. It was stopped for a second by Beagle, and they're going to call a foul on Alex Levy. Too aggressive in the chase for the ball. So it'll be a free kick for Natick. Lily Monago taps it over to Hacker, I believe, who boots it down the near side. It's taken by Eliza Campana. She turns around, shoots, and that's well wide of the net over the far side and out of bounds. That'll be another goal kick for Brookline. Winning those 50-50 balls has really been the bane of Brookline's game thus far. A lot of ball. I feel like I keep saying the ball goes into the air, it's deflected, and then it winds up at the foot of a Natick player. It's been happening all night, and it's been giving the Redhawks far more chances as Thompson boots it towards midfield. Couple deflections, and for a second it looked like Fagnan was going to get it. Almost taken by a Natick player, but I think they're going to say it was a high kick by Briar Grady, and so it'll be a free kick for Brookline. Caroline Wolf getting ready to tap it for Hope Leshley. Leshley boots it down deep into the Natick end. Couple deflections, and then Natick kicks it out. Natick trying to control it along the far side. They kick it towards midfield. Deflects off Zoe Graves. She corrals it. And then a pass over to, I believe, Holly Browning. Browning pass looking for Eliza Campana. And Campana turns, shoots, no good. Wide on the near side this time. Correction, that pass was from number 19, Kyo White. Now Talia Thompson with another goal kick. She kicks it over to Caroline Wolf. Wolf kicks it ahead looking for Friedman. Friedman passes it back to Pujols Braceno. And then Braceno's pass is intercepted by Lily Monago. Centering pass looking for Briar Grady. Grady sends it along the far side to Kayla Henderson, then sent back to Lagon. Then passed ahead to Henderson. Kayla Henderson dribbling with it. Kicks, and it's deflected out of bounds. So to maintain Natick's possession deep in the Brookline end, we got just over 9.5 minutes left in regulation here. Natick lines up for the inbounds kick. It's booted towards the box. Bit of a scrum for the ball. Deflected back towards the box by a Natick player, but well wide and out of bounds. So it'll be another goal kick for Thompson. Thompson lining up for the goal kick. 9 minutes and counting left in this game. Natick leads Brookline 1-0. And there was a substitution for Natick as they subbed out Zoe Graves. The goal kick goes towards midfield. Won by Brookline for a second. Now Samantha Friedman able to take it away. Frankel then passed back towards Friedman. Friedman trying to chase it down along the near side. Deflected. And they're going to say it was deflected off Natick. So Nice push on the attack by Samantha Friedman, and she sets Brookline up with a corner kick. They tap it for Friedman. Friedman now dribbling with it. Now she kicks it high into the air. It's deflected. A couple deflections. Natick trying to clear it out. They haven't cleared it out yet. Still a scrum for the ball, and the ball rolls out of bounds. It'll maintain Brookline ball. So now Brookline has it on the far side for an inbounds kick. Kick it inbounds. Boot it towards the box. Deflects off a defender and then is booted out by the Natick defense. It bounces out of bounds, and Brookline will maintain possession, this time on the near sideline. Pujols-Braceno kicks it into Friedman. Friedman loses it. Pujols-Braceno recovers, boots it towards the box once again, but it bounces into the hands of Jeter. Allison Jeter with the ball. She's just holding it for now, looking for the right outlet. Now with the drop kick. It bounces. More bounces. Kicked into the air for a second and then recovered by Brookline. I believe that's Hope Leshley who passes it back. Then booted into the air and then deflected down by Grady. Kicked ahead but goes to Mahoney. Mahoney kicks it into the air. And then it's kicked into the air again. Sent ahead by Natick this time. And number 13 had it for a second, taken away by Pujols-Braceno, but then lost and taken away by Eliza Campana. Campana fakes out Braceno, kicks it towards the box, but taken by Wolf and kicked out. Taken by Bubanovic. Bubanovic kicks it back to Manago. Manago going along the near side, pursued by Friedman, and I think she drew the foul. So it's going to be a foul on Samantha Friedman. And they're getting ready for another free kick. It looks like it's going to be Lily Manago tapping to Kira Hacker once again. 6 minutes and counting left in the game. Tap to Hacker. Hacker kicks it well wide of the box. Perhaps looking for a setup. It might have just bounced wide. It's kicked out of bounds by a Brookline player. And it'll be Natick ball all the way on the far side now. Natick trying to expand its 1-0 lead. They kick it towards the box again. A dangerous deflection. And Thompson dives on it. Natick did a good job keeping that set play alive for as long as it did. But Thompson with some good hustle there to dive on the ball. And now she boots it into the air. Downed for a second by Friedman, but then she lost it. And it's taken by Holly Browning. She tries to kick it, but it's intercepted by Hope Leshley. Leshley now dribbling with it, gets it across midfield, passes over to Friedman. Friedman tries to kick it ahead, deflected, taken away by Holly Browning, then taken back by Friedman, kicked ahead. She was looking for Melanie Chernin, but she gets taken down and draws a foul. Brookline getting ready for a free kick. Caroline Wolf taps it back to Leshley. Leshley boots it towards the box, bounces into the hands of Jeter. Nobody there at the spot they needed to be. And it'll be Allison Jeter currently holding on to the ball. She punts it towards midfield. Deflected, winds up at the foot of Samantha Friedman. She boots it into the air. Deflected into the air by Hacker, being chased down by Lagon. Lagon tries to kick it and it goes out of bounds, but I think they're going to say it went off a Brookline player. We're down to the last 4 minutes of play. We got another substitution for Natick. This is number 5, Emma Arant, coming in as Natick works the inbounds kick. They're trying to work things ahead along the far side, but it gets taken away by Lindsay Mahoney around midfield. She boots it across midfield, looking for Friedman, but she lost control of it for a second. They send a couple retreating passes, and Jeter boots it into the air. In the scrum for the ball, it's another foul call against Brookline. Natick will have the free kick around the 35-yard line. Monago going to tap it for Hacker. Hacker boots it high and far and chased down by Caroline Wolf, who kicks it for Pujols-Braceno, who tries to kick it ahead, but intercepted by Browning. Browning now sending a pass down the far side, looking for number 13. Chased down by Samantha Friedman, though, and kicked away. The ball is deflected by Chernev. It winds up at the foot of Monago. Monago kicks it ahead, and the Natick player gets tripped up by Mia Pujols-Braceno. That was number 2, Holly Browning, who drew the foul. About 2.5 minutes left here in the inaugural Route 9 Cup. Natick still leads Brookline 1-0. Kira Hacker getting ready for a direct kick. She winds up, boots it towards the box. A deflection. Natick controls it, trying to turn around and look for a shot opening. Too many defenders, though, and it harmlessly rolls away and into the hands of Thompson. Thompson punts it with all of her might. It bounces across midfield, but that's too far. Can't punt it past midfield with the current rules. And so now it'll be a free kick for Natick. Beagle taps it for Hacker. Hacker kicks it high and far and down to the far side, bounces over her teammate and out of bounds. We are now in stoppage time of this contest as Brookline tries to work it from the inbounds kick towards midfield. It's deflected, and we got a foul call against Natick. Brookline trying to make it move. And I think we had a bit of confusion there. It looked like, not sure what happened, but Brookline, regardless, getting ready for the free kick. Tapped from Wolf over to Leslie. Leslie boots it towards the box. This could be their last best chance. And it skips away. Well defended. Friedman was trying to chase it down and keep it in bounds, but she was being sealed off by Lily Monago, who was making almost a box-out play as if she was going for a rebound. Some smart defensive fundamentals there. Now it'll be a goal kick for Allison Jeter. Jeter boots it into the air towards midfield, being chased after, and it's going to go right out of bounds along the near side. Brookline getting ready for the inbounds kick. Pujols-Braceno kicks it back and forth with Zoe Fagnan. Tries to kick it ahead, but it's taken away by Natick. Kick towards the Brookline end. And Eliza Campana fights through Caroline Wolf, but not through Lindsay Mahoney. Mahoney boosts it ahead across midfield, being chased down by Sari Frankel. Frankel tries to turn around and boot it ahead along the far side, but taken away by Natick once again. They kick it down into the Brookline end. Mahoney chases it down, kicks it back to Thompson. Thompson boots it into the air towards midfield. Brookline still trying to make the attack happen. Sorry, Frankel boots it ahead, but nobody there except for Redhawks. Samantha Freeman tries to chase it down. She gets a lucky deflection, trying to chase it down, trying to keep up the attack, trying to fight through like 4 or 5 defenders, but runs out of field and runs out of time.
The game with the final score, Natick Redhawks 1, Brookline Warriors 0. Once again, next game.
So that's going to do it for the contest here at Natick High School in Natick, Massachusetts. The final score, the Natick Redhawks 1, the Brookline Warriors 0. And so Natick takes this game here at the inaugural Route 9 Cup. And so I thank you all for tuning in and listening today. Once again, I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. I've been bringing you live coverage of this game. The other game against Natick at Brookline Skyline Field was postponed from Sunday. I don't know if they found a makeup date just yet, but when they do, I hope I'll get the chance to cover that again, and I hope you all will tune in to listen once again. So once again, the final score, Natick 1, Brookline 0. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan at Natick High School in Natick, Massachusetts, signing off. Have a good night, everybody.